guess who is back? And they're trying to hide some of the past, but the internet doesn't forget, and I don't forget either. That is a little company known as Malibal. Now, I would entirely understand if you don't know who they are. Most people probably don't know who they are, except for the videos I and a bunch of other people put out last year on the absolutely insane actions they decided to take. I say they, but I'm pretty sure it's just one guy running the company. Starting off with the terms of service. Most of this is totally normal website TOS. Let's search for the phrase Google. Use of Google products and services. Users are prohibited from accessing this website using any Google products or services. This includes, but is not limited to, Gmail, Chrome, with the exception of degoogled Forks, Google Pixel phones, Android, with the exception of degoogled Android, and other Google services, but not limited to Google Search, Google Drive, which doesn't make any sense, Google Meet, also doesn't make any sense, and Google Workspace doesn't make any sense. And the exact same is true for Apple as well. Apple Mail, Safari, iPhone and other Apple hardware, and other Apple services, iCloud, which, again, Apple Maps, Apple Music, how would Apple Music access your website? Doesn't make any sense, and Apple Pay. And if you happen to be using any of this, we reserve the right to terminate users' access to the site immediately without notice. So basically, all mobile users are not allowed to use the website. What a great way to run a business. Now, this was not the focus of the prior video. Instead, the focus was on this. Don't support the Coreboot project. This involved a couple of different Coreboot consultancy firms. We have 9 Elements, we have 3M Deb, and we have the individual Mr. Chromebox. So Malibal wanted to get Coreboot ported onto their laptops, went to these different consultancy firms, and basically was quoted a number that they thought was too high. Now, is the number too high? Well, when there's not really that many people in the space doing something, they kind of get to decide what the price is going to be. Also, they all kind of agreed, and everybody else kind of agreed that this is a lot of work, and it costs a lot of money to do, it costs a lot of time, so you're being charged a reasonable rate. Malibal thought it wasn't reasonable, basically because they thought that the project was in a better state, that just by copying what System 76 had done, that means that everything was basically just ready to port onto their laptop, and you don't really have to think about it. That was not the case, as a lot of things just didn't work with it, and yeah, it was basically a big endeavor, and due to each of these consultancy firms basically saying, hey, this is how much it's going to cost, and then Malibal not being happy about that, it led to a bunch of different regions of the world being banned from purchasing Malibal laptops. 9 Elements, we have Germany. With 3M Deb, we have Poland. And then with Mr. Chromebox, the individual, we have the state of Maryland. Along with this, anybody who is a supporter of the Coreboot project, including contributing code, being a member of their board, or donating, will be banned for life without exception. So basically that means you're never going to do a Coreboot version of your laptop because everybody who knows how to work with Coreboot is banned from having one of your laptops. What a good business. And we also have Mr. Jeremy Soller from System 76 who just said skill issue and got the entire state of Colorado banned. Basically, if you say anything negative about Malibal, you mock Malibal, you say anything mean about the project or the company, basically wherever you're from is just gonna be banned. Sadly, I never got Australia banned, though. Now, a bunch of these Coreboot consultants went and made a response and basically said all of this was dumb and this person has no idea what they're talking about, and this is what Malibal had to say. We haven't read Coreboot's response and never will. That project is trash and doesn't deserve anyone's attention. Why does it kind of sound like this is a jealous person who was just broken up with? Oh, I never liked you anyway. If they claimed our account of what happened is in any way false, they are lying. God can strike me dead if anything we said isn't true, or if we left out a single relevant fact or detail. What these Coreboot consultants and leaders did is simply indefensible. Anyone who sides with them should hang their head in shame. The Coreboot project is a cancer and a debt to the entire enterprise of open source and should be abandoned. Well, luckily you never actually have to interact with it, because you don't have to use Coreboot. You just don't have to do that. Along with this, you have some fun situations like the support team going around calling everybody who has a support issue a zombie, a soulless zombie, something in line with that. And also interacting with content creators in the same way. So I'm pretty sure it's the same person. I'm pretty sure their marketing team and support team is one guy. I'm pretty sure the entire company is one guy, but I digress. Now, Malibal had tried to make this some big deal and get people on their side with this Reddit post and posts in a couple of other places. They've now gone and deleted the post and deleted their entire account, but I still have the link, so don't you worry about that. They've got some plans for the future and are trying to clean things up, but the internet doesn't forget. And if you want some more details, be sure to go check out my prior video on Malibal over on YouTube. Malibal goes to war with Coreboot. I think the video did pretty well, actually. The important thing about all of this is Malibal clearly has no level of sane management. No sane company bans an entire country because they had one bad experience with a consultant who just happens to live there. That's not what any reasonable person does. So, with all that being said, do you trust Malibal with the future of your computing? A truly American-made device, Project Liberation, establishing the first truly American-made laptop manufacturing supply chain. For 20 plus years, Malibal has stood as a principle, I guess, yes, calling everyone a zombie is a principle. Alternative to big tech, creating high-performance laptops to prioritize user privacy, autonomy, and the right to repair. We've built a thriving business serving Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft and Boeing. Prominent organizations such as Genentech, Pixar, DreamWorks, and government agencies including NASA and the Air Force. I call cap. Extreme cap. Now, it is true that Malibal's been around for a long time. Here is a post from 14 years ago with somebody asking about Malibal. And maybe 14, 15 plus years ago, somebody that happened to work at one of these companies did buy a Malibal laptop. Maybe even bought a bunch of them. But that's maybe your legacy. It's certainly not where you are today. Nobody even knows you exist today outside of videos like this. Big tech has created a dependency crisis. American consumers have lost control over their devices, their data, and their supply chains. Every laptop is assembled in factories with questionable labor practices, using components you can't verify, trust, or repair. Why now? Recent supply chain vulnerabilities exposed by geopolitical tensions, government focus on reshoring manufacturing through initiatives like the CHIPS Act, and rising privacy consciousness have created the perfect storm for domestic technology manufacturing. After 20 plus years of building high-end custom laptops, talk more about that, Malibal's established supplier relationships and manufacturing expertise have made this the optimal time to execute. All of this part right here, totally fair, absolutely true. But this last part here, building high-end custom laptops. It's important to remember that Malibal is a clever reseller. Now, this is not inherently a bad thing. System76 is also a clever reseller. Metabox and a bunch of other companies are clever resellers. But that's an important thing to remember when they try to frame it like this. The current reality. Zero consumer laptops feature truly American-made input components. Users are locked into unrepairable, unupgradable devices. Supply chains are opaque and potentially unethical. Privacy and user autonomy are sacrificed for corporate profits, and American manufacturing capability has been systematically dismantled. What has never existed, no laptop in history has ever carried made in USA components for the parts users interact with most, keyboards and touchpads. This represents a loss of technological sovereignty. All of this is totally valid. I don't think Malibal's the company to try and solve it, though. The solution, American-made modular input innovation, which is a lot of words to say, we're gonna make things in America. Malibal's Project Liberation Phase 1 will produce the first truly made American laptop input device, TMR, tunneling magnetoresistance keyboards with maglev switches and precision haptic touchpads, as the foundation for eventually creating the first American-made laptop ever. How we'll execute. Rather than building new factories from scratch, we're partnering with existing US manufacturers to modify production lines for TMR sensors, maglev switches, and haptic actuators. Our 20 plus years of supplier relationships and manufacturing expertise enable us to establish domestic production efficiently by leveraging existing American manufacturing capability. Now, one inclusion I really like on this list is open source firmware. So, you might be able to do it for your laptop keyboard, but for the laptop itself, you know, considering the whole burning bridges with every single Coreboot developer, you know, doing this through the entire stack might be a bit hard. And in the following paragraph, I like the inclusion of our TMR keyboard technology. Our meaning tech that is really cool and really good, but is now in commodity keyboards you can buy from China. It's still really nice. Hey, don't get me wrong, but it's not your tech. 20 plus years of proven innovation. Again, laptop reseller. 20 plus years profitable, 10 plus Fortune 500 customers, 15 major publications, trusted by Boeing, NASA, the Air Force, GeneTech, Pixar, DreamWorks, Bungie. I'm not able to test any of those claims, but I can test these ones. Featured on CNET, Engadget, Gizmodo, and I don't know what national television this would be. But we can find these ones. When it comes to CNET, I was only able to find this. Photos top-rated reviews of the week. And if we search for Malibal, this links to the Malibal Veda series laptop. There is a review here, but this review has since been taken down by CNET. This is from 2009. As for Engadget, I was able to find two different articles, one from 2006, one from 2007. Here is the one from 2007. This is a review of their laptop at the time, the 20-inch Veda series notebook. And then for Gizmodo, exactly the same thing. Here is the one from 2007, again for the Veda notebook. The other one is a different laptop from 2006. That's not just me taking the oldest article I could find. That's the only articles I could find. So, it is true they've had some coverage from these outlets about 18 plus years ago. ZZNet reviewer ranked Malibal Aeon above MacBook Pro 13. That's a very interesting inclusion, because this is the review in question. I really enjoyed testing this laptop, but can't recommend it. This is the review you go with to say how amazing your laptop is. And there is mention of the MacBook Pro in this article, but nowhere in the article does it say it is ranked higher than the MacBook Pro 13. Absolutely nowhere. Fastest laptop under 1 kilogram ever produced. I don't know why you've included that one. That is such an easy one to disprove. So right now, they are currently selling one laptop, and then 180 different versions of the laptop. So instead of having like a selector, well, they have like the build selector here, but instead of just having one listing and then the selector, all of the different configurations are listed out as different laptops. So it looks like they have a lot more products than they actually have. So anyway, let's go to build because it literally all just the same laptop. If we go to specs, the only laptop they are selling is weighing in at a total of 5.7 pounds. If you are not an American, that is around about 2.5 kilos. So you are literally not even selling a laptop under 1 kilogram. Maybe 18 years ago, they had the fastest laptop under 1 kilogram. Today they don't though. They don't even have one. Not even the fastest. But do you know who does have a laptop under 1 kilogram? It may not be the fastest, but it's certainly under 1 kilogram. So here is a list of the lightest laptops and ultrabooks in the world. If we scroll way down to the bottom, System 76 Lima Pro. I believe it's at 998 grams. Just barely under the limit, but it's still under the limit. And it should be pretty obvious they don't have a laptop under 1 kilogram because every single laptop they sell has a discrete GPU in it. You're not getting a laptop under 1 kilogram with a discrete GPU. It's just not gonna happen. Following this, we have all of the marketing slide nonsense. Wow, look, the US market is so big. There's so many laptops sold in the US market. There's $175 billion there. That means that's all of my money. That's how markets work. Definitely how our markets work, especially when there is zero USA competition. Zero in air quotes that are doing a lot of heavy lifting. The vision. Path to made in USA laptops. 1. Input devices, American-made keyboards and touchpads. The current funding. 2. Display and battery. Screens and power systems manufactured domestically. 3. Motherboards, circuit boards, and final assembly integration. And 4. Complete laptop. The first ever American-made laptop. Key milestones and timeline. Months 1 to 6. Finalize manufacturing partnerships and begin production line modifications. Months 7 to 12. Complete tooling, testing, and quality assurance for first production runs. Months 13 to 18. Begin commercial production of American-made keyboards and touchpads. Months 19 to 24. Scale production and prepare foundation for Phase 2 expansion. Creation of American manufacturing jobs. Proof of concept for broader domestic laptop manufacturing. So, are you ready to invest in the future of American-made laptops run by Malibal? Hey, I'm sure somebody is. Now, there are legitimate attempts to make this a real goal. I don't think Malibal is going to be that attempt. I am very curious to see what the intention behind this is, if this is actually legitimate, or if there was maybe something more to it. Anyway, there are companies actually trying to pursue this goal. One of those being System 76. So they are right now a clever reseller, but they are working on their own custom laptop. When are we gonna see it? I don't know. The Virgo's been a work in progress for quite a long time now, and I don't think we've actually heard about it, I would say, in at least a year. And then, of course, there are companies like Framework. I don't need to introduce Framework. You all know who they are. These are actual companies trying to make American-made laptops. Malibal, well, Malibal. That's all I need to say. So, do you trust Malibal with the future of American manufacturing? I'm sure somebody does. But, knowing what I know about Malibal, you know. Anyway, if you like the video, go like the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you remember the whole Malibal situation from before, let me know how surprised you are about this happening. Go subscribe as well. And if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here. Check out the Patreon, subscribe to Stelly Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and... That's a very malleable laptop. I didn't have a better one.
Something like this.